Okay, presenting today are A.J. Kucinski from Massachusetts and Jake Madnick from Connecticut, and they're both freshmen, talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls. Go ahead.
What are the scrolls? So the scrolls are a collection of 981 manuscripts found in caves near the site of Qumran, which is in the Judean desert. And as you can see, next to the Dead Sea and beneath the West Bank is the Judean desert. And so these scrolls are written mostly in Hebrew. About 15% were written in Aramaic, and then just a small amount in Greek. And they're referred to as the oldest known copy of the Old Testament, but in that dry desert climate in the Judean desert, they're preserved very well. And some popular scrolls that have been identified are Isaiah, Deuteronomy, and Psalms, out of a total of about 900 scrolls. And as you can see, although there are many fragments to the scrolls, they're easily read.
So who and why? So the scrolls are believed to be stumbled upon by a young shepherd searching for a stray goat, which Jake will get into more on the next slide. And this unlikely discovery by the shepherd actually ended up leading to 11 caves being excavated in the future to find the rest of the scrolls, so they were separated through 11 different places. And there's been a lot of heated conversation from scholars kind of trying to decipher when the scrolls were actually found, or when they were written. And so they eventually agreed that they were written in the Second Temple period, started being written then in 515 BCE, and written by the Essenes. And they were believed to continue to write the scrolls throughout the whole Second Temple period until its destruction.
So the story behind the scrolls. So there was a shepherd of the Arameer tribe. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have no idea. And so the shepherd was with his flock of sheep and goats, and he was looking for a stray, and he came across a cave that really interested him. So he decided to throw a stone, and he heard this loud cracking noise that sounded like a bunch of pots. So he decided to go to the cave, and he found a few scrolls. And so then he brought the scrolls back to a Bethlehem antiquities dealer. And here there was only about 7 scrolls at the time, and the dealer kind of sold a couple of them, and then they came across a Jewish scholar who knew all, decided to go and research about this stuff. So then they went back and found the rest of the scrolls, and that's the story. And then here, just an example of a cave in the Judean desert.
So why the Essenes? The scholars decided, they came to a conclusion that these were the people who wrote the scrolls. And we found 3 main reasons why this could be. The reasoning is the location. They lived right on the western part of the Dead Sea near Qumran, exactly where the scrolls were found, and their ways of life. So their beliefs, there was biblical and non-biblical parts of the scrolls, and the ways that language scholars translated the scrolls matched up with the beliefs and self-descriptions of the Essene communities. Examples of this were they had a huge emphasis on culture and membership and kind of unity and equality. And in the scrolls, there's references to a community rule and initiation ceremonies that matched up with these kind of beliefs and descriptions. And also, there was 3 kind of sects of Judaism in that area at the time. It was the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Essenes. But the reason that scholars could decipher that as the Essenes who wrote the scrolls was that they were much more unique from the other 2. And they lived in the desert, and they even followed a different calendar. So it was easier to decipher that it was theirs and not the other 2. And this is actually an Essene community, as you can see. They literally live in the sand, and kind of the structure in the background just kind of represent the cave we showed you earlier. So it could be definitely connected. So why are they hidden? So Romans had control of the Holy Land starting in 63 BCE, and the Jews wanted their own control. They did not want to live under the Roman rule. So they revolted in 66 to 70 CE. And in response to the revolt, the Romans began to burn anything that they could find that related to Judaism. It could be scrolls, scripts, any form of writing, anything that reflected the Jewish culture. And in response to this, Essenes, as well as the Pharisees and Sadducees, just decided to hide everything of importance, and the scrolls they decided to hide in the caves.
And here you see a picture of the fragmented scrolls. So the scholarly view. The Dead Sea Scrolls agree mostly with the Masoretic text, and I know we discussed the Masoretic text earlier, so does anybody want to go ahead and take a shot at what the Masoretic text is? What it means? Anyone? Chloe?
Call on somebody. There you go.
Chloe, I know you know this.
The Masoretic text is the Hebrew translated Bible? Hebrew form of the Bible? I forget the date.
Yeah, so the Hebrew texts of the Old Testament that were created by Jewish scholars in the 6th to 10th century CE, and these scholars were from Israel and Babylon. And so today, although there's a lot of agreement on the Essene theory, there's still kind of doubts about the origins of the scrolls, and I think that's kind of like a common theme that the scholarly view kind of, for the most part, agrees with each other, and then sometimes here and there's some disagreement, but for the most part, the Essene theory is the scholarly view. And also the Book of Tobit in the Bible was found from the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it was not included in the Hebrew Bible. And so why are they significant? They're said to be the most important discovery in the 20th century, and they've helped translators immensely. So they matched up with what translators believed the Bible was. And in addition, they provide convincing support for the genuineness of God's revelation as given to us in the Bible. And they're also almost 1,000 years older than the oldest complete manuscript of the Bible.
So where are they today? So upon excavation, they were kind of transported all around the world, but now most of them are found in Jerusalem and select museums. There's a few in Jordan, Europe, and the United States, but only visually. They're seen in Israel and Jordan.
And so in Jerusalem, they're in the Shrine of the Book Museum, and actually Israel authorities are working to digitalize the scrolls to preserve them. And as we see, most of them are found in Jerusalem, United States, or have a couple, Jordan, and then Europe. And
so we wanted to personalize our presentation a little bit. And Jake actually informed me that he's been to the Dead Sea. And this is a picture of him and his sisters just floating. And yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting.
And why do they float?
Because there's so much salt that you don't even have to know how to swim.
you can see with like the chairs that it's kind of floating.
You can't really go under. So.
Yeah.
How deep is
Where I was, it was decently deep, not too deep.
Yeah.
That's all we got, so I'll get off that.
Thank you. Good job, guys. Okay, so first questions, comments, connections?
Yeah, I don't really have a question, but just like a comment regarding Tobit is maybe Tobit might have been like only included in like the Essene scrolls, and maybe that's why it didn't make it into the canon. Maybe since like they were like a separate group. I don't know. I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Betty?
I think it was just interesting to kind of like dig deeper into what the Dead Sea Scrolls were.
Okay, Andrew and Malcolm?
So what are like some of the big use of Dead Sea Scrolls today?
Well, so, like the significance?
Yeah, or not their significance, more like, yeah, I guess sure, their significance today, and their impact on like the Bible and all
Yeah.
that.
So I mean, it's really that they help translators kind of like make sure that what they were doing was correct in a way. Like it just kind of reiterated things that they believed, and that's like really why they're super important.
Mm-hmm. Malcolm?
Yeah, I guess I was just wondering, I know you guys said it was 20th century. Do you know like the exact date?
Yeah. So 1946 and 1947 were when they were found by the shepherd.
Yeah. And the excavations went through the 50s too.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Anybody else? Questions or points? let's thank them again.